Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome back. So in the previous video, we saw how to create a bore or an interpolation, and with that, we removed any remaining material in the setup, right? So with that, our part has been completed, except that in the second setup, we'll have to go ahead and remove any excess material. All right. So to do that, we'll have to keep a couple of things in mind. First and foremost is that the orientation of the part and the leftover material. All right. So in our initial setup, we had taken up the stock to be so, and our plan was that we hold the part in the vise, complete the first setup, and ensure the part is ready. And in the second setup, we'll just do the facing and complete the entire machining, right? So to do this, what we'll do now that our first setup is completed, let's be mindful of in which direction we are rotating our part. So you can notice I'm maintaining the same x-axis direction, all right? And only the y-axis and the z-axis are flipping, right? So I'll position it in the correct orientation, and then I'll go ahead and click on setup. And here you can see that the direction has changed, right? And under stock, you can also see we have an option called as mode, and we have an option called as from preceding setup. And we'll have to select continue rest machining, which will allow us to study the remaining stock that is left out. Now that we have done this, we'll come back to our setup mode. We'll select the orientation. Let's ensure we are setting up the x-axis in a similar to our previous direction that we had set up. So to do this, what I'll do is I'll come down, select z-axis plane, the first option, z-axis plane and x-axis. Z-axis is in the right orientation, no doubt. Now we can just select the x-axis. For that, we'll just go ahead and select the edge, any one of the edges, and ensure it is parallel. So right now, I'll just flip the x-axis so that it is very, very similar to the previous setup. Now that this is done, let's be very mindful of choosing where our Z offset is. Right now, if you notice, it is on the top of the raw material. To avoid any confusions, the best practice is to either take the bottom offset or the top of the part. All right. So for that, we can select model box point under origin, and either we can select the top or bottom. So that way we'll be selecting and taking offset from a machined surface. That is very, very important when you are moving to the next setup. In the second setup, we should ensure we are taking the work coordinate system on a machined surface so that we are getting the part very, very accurate. If you are taking it on the raw material, any deviation in the raw material size, that deviation will impact on the part. So right now I'll take the top part offset. So you can see this, it's on top. We can go ahead and click on OK. So you will notice just like how we had left it over in the previous setup, the same stock is reflecting here. Okay, so that is the advantage of selecting continue rest machining. So in the second setup, we'll only be machining what is left out. Here we have only face. Only one option we need is facing. So we'll come down, select the face mill cutter. We can select face mill cutter and you will find 50 face mill. Select the default preset. And like I had mentioned in the start in our initial videos, facing is a very, very straightforward strategy where you just select the tool and the geometry is automatically selected. The only main thing that we need to keep an eye on is the number of passes and multiple depths. You can select say 0.5 or 0.75 mm, and you can ensure it is both sides so that we can save some time. All right. Give it a couple of seconds and here we have. Let's simulate the entire setup. Click on play and you can notice the cutter moves up and down in both directions. And as we fast forward, you can notice all the left out machine material is being machined out. And now you can see the complete part that is ready. About the material that you see in the corners and in between, that is going to fall off. It's going to get machined off. It's going to be removed, right? So with this, we are also in simple terms able to complete our second setup as well. Yeah. Thank you. Stay tuned, and we will move on to 3D milling, and we'll look at a much more complex example in the upcoming videos. Thank you.